Hey, Betsy Jordan here. I wanted to do a quick tutorial on a major challenge that all of my clients face, which is how do you really get the value in the value proposition? Or if you want to create testimonials, how do you really isolate the benefit? Or how do you really strategically position yourself in the marketplace and really show, like, yes, what I do is really unique, but it's going to create a huge ROI for working with you. So I created this really short tutorial. I don't know if it's going to be really short because I haven't recorded it yet, to give you some guidance on this. And if you're struggling with this, this is one of the biggest challenges that the majority of my clients have. So I'm going to share my screen so I can go over that with you. So what we're talking about is how do you go beyond solutions and really position yourself, from a discovery meeting standpoint or anything else that you're doing from a brand messaging for impact and ROI, and get yourself out of that pair of hands kind of trap and that perspective that you are, just somebody who's just, has some sort of methodology that you hope for the best somebody will want. So I'm going to go over my 4-level client impact and ROI model, and I'm going to show you how to enhance your strategic positioning in a variety of different opportunities that you have in your consulting or coaching business. So let's get into the 4 levels of a client engagement. So there's 4 levels, and it starts with the solution. So that's the foundation. And so this is getting clarity on what will people create or learn. So let's say that you do a strategic workshop and you're doing strategic facilitation. What is the shared agreement or shared understanding that the team is going to walk away with? Or if you are working with somebody who's trying to create a new strategy, like that's the outcome, or maybe it's new knowledge, skills, or abilities or perspective. It's what is it that they got in the solution and what did they create or learn as a part of your solution? But then the next level, this is where you're taking it to the next levels. They have a solution, but now it should lead to some behavior change. So it's looking at how are they different? How do they work together individually or as a team? So how did they apply what they agreed on? Or that roadmap, or how do they apply those new knowledge and skills and abilities or perspective? How do they act differently? But that's not the end game. You don't want to get there. You want to get to the level 3 and then level 4. So level 3 is about the impact. So when they change these behaviors, what specific results were they able to create or achieve because of these new behaviors? So what goal are they now able to accomplish? What money and time were saved? What relationships were forged? What money was gained? How's their reputation shifted? It's really looking at the outcomes. So let's look at what I do in helping my clients work through their brand messaging. Let's just use that as an example. So the solution that I provide is helping my clients create their brand messages that help them get clarity and focus. So they're going to walk away with clarity on their ideal client, how they're different, what's the value in their value proposition. They're going to get clarity on all of that. Or maybe if they want to work with my idea to launch program, they're going to get a visual brand, they're going to get a website, they're going to get something out of it. But that's not the end of it. It's how do they apply that? So if they have a website, what are they doing with the website? What kinds of things are they doing in terms of getting new clients? Like what activities are they doing? If I train them on how to do partnership setup, how do they apply that knowledge? Or how do they apply those brand messages? So when they are at their networking events and somebody asks them what they do, what are they actually saying? Are they using those words that we came up with in the solution? And then what is the impact of that? So let's say somebody gets one of the big things that they create or learn from working with me is that what I do pitch that they could use in a networking event. The behavior changes, they're at the event, and then they actually are using it when people ask them what they do. And then what's the impact? Is it leading to more leads? Is it leading to more clients, client opportunities? And how are they converting those clients, those leads into clients? And how much money are they making as a result of it? And then we get to the last part, which is the ROI. So what's it costing them to not have any solution or the right solution? And what is the return that they're going to get when they work with you? So they invest the thousands of dollars in working with you. What's the ROI? So that's putting the numbers against it, in the business case for working with you. So these are the different levels, but a lot of times as consultants or coaches, we get very married to our solution. And so we just want to position everything related to our solution. I do training, I do coaching, I do workshops, but we neglect to position that solution into this broader context. It's when we position it in this broader context, is that when you have messaging that resonates and gets clients to move, because I promise you, nobody cares about your solution per se or your methodology. They care about the results. They're spending money to get the behavior changes and the results, the impact. So when you position yourself to say, I'm just looking for somebody who's going to buy my training program, that's not going to work. You need to be able to put it into a strategic context. So let me give you an example from a fitness standpoint. So I'm going to go over this over and over again to reinforce this because this is such a challenge. So let's say somebody comes and says, oh, let's say you're a fitness coach or somebody, and somebody might come to you and say, hey, I want a new diet. I heard all about this, like training new diet. I want to try it. And you could say, well, sure. But really you want to move them up the pyramid. You want to help them figure out, like, great, if you had that, what would be different? What behaviors will be different? The behavior is maybe I've cut out carbs and I've increased my protein, but that's not enough. You want to put it in the context, like, well, why do they want to change that behavior? It's one thing if somebody says, well, I'm getting married in a couple of weeks and I want to fit into my dress, versus like, I want to run a marathon. But even then you want to get a little bit farther, because let's say they're a breast cancer survivor and they're running to raise money for something that they care very much about. So that's a different kind of goal. So you want to put it in that strategic context. There's a lot of reasons why somebody might want a diet. It could be somebody like, I'm at middle age and I don't like my middle, and I want it to be better, or it could be somebody who's just like, I just really want to feel really good about myself. And there's, I want to be more attractive to people I want to date, or there's 1,000 reasons, but you want to position everything that you do because there's an ideal client that's for you. So you could be a fitness trainer, but maybe you're a specialist in helping somebody who wants to run a marathon. That's more compelling. Helping somebody transform into a competitive marathon person, or just having someone who wants to complete a marathon. You want to be clear on those goals, because that is what people are paying for. They're going to you because they have a very important goal to them that is not being accomplished. So you want to be clear on that. So think about the difference between selling a diet plan and helping someone run a successful marathon to raise money for a cause that's near and dear to them. When you think about the investment that they'd make in you, you think about it from that standpoint, is like, wow, if they had that investment in helping me run a marathon, I would pay a lot more money for that, because that is so much more important to me. So also, you want to think about it this way too, is we are consultants and coaches. We want to make money and we want to make a difference. This is how you do it, because we all know a diet change alone is not going to get this person to their goals. So when you can help a client articulate, or you can envision the goals that you're going to help your clients achieve, you'll be able to create more comprehensive solutions that will actually get them to their goals and that are more valuable. So therefore you're going to make more money. So that's why this is so important. And thinking about it this way, a client might be coming to you with a hammer. So I always talk to my clients about the hammer looking for a nail syndrome. So a client, especially executive clients, they always kind of go through to their favorite solutions, training or coaching, like that's their go-to, but that's their solution request. But if a client's literally asking for a hammer, that's great if they want to hang a painting. But what if they want to renovate their kitchen? So knowing the outcome could change our approach. Similarly, a client asking us for a training program, a coaching, or we want to sell a training program or coaching, or an e-course or something like that. We want to position it to the goals. So thinking about from a power skill standpoint, we want to be all about strategic positioning. So let's say from your standpoint, you're thinking, I have a training and coaching program or a unique methodology we want to sell. That's a starting point, but then you're the hammer looking for a nail. The spotlight is on you and what you want to do, and not on the results that the client wants. So you want to go up the pyramid. It's more important for you to start dialing, like, I want to help emerging executive talent to develop the executive leadership skills around executive presence, strategic thinking, and political savvy. That's better. You're moving towards results because you're getting clarity in the behaviors that will get transformed in what ways. But this is even better. I want to help emerging executive talent to land their dream job as an executive and thrive in this new and elevated role that comes with greater responsibility, authority, impact, and earning potential. Like, now you could see the ROI. It's not just about building skills. It's about growing your responsibility, your authority, your competence, your impact, your strategic positioning, your money, and all of that. But then you sweeten the deal. Looking at the ROI of like, what's unique that you bring in, like you help them get to this goal that they wanted anyway. They wanted this goal, whether they work with you or not, but they worked with you because you have a unique proprietary approach. You understand a lot about executive talent. You have an ability to transfer these knowledge and skills. So you might be able to say, work with me. I'll help you get to the executive ranks faster with a lot less stress, angst, and second guessing yourself, expanding your earning power, and set yourself up for a C-suite position, not just like first your entry level executive. I'm going to get you on the path to the C-suite, and I'm going to get you to do that without burning out. Now we're talking about your strategic positioning and the much bigger ROI that your clients are getting that they will invest money for. So they're not necessarily going to invest as much money just for like regular pain points. They're not going to come to you and say, I just want to reduce my stress. They're just going to reduce stress, and they have generalized stress in some ways. They're probably going to go to a therapist. They're going to go to an integrative health doctor. They're going to go somewhere else. Like there's something along those lines. You really want to figure out like this pain point. If this stress was going away, what difference would it make? So you don't want to whack-a-mole the pain points. You want to get to the goals of what they're really trying to accomplish. That's where the strategic positioning is. So the best is really getting clear on the remarkable results working with you creates. And you can't just start with like, this is what I want to do. I just help anybody coach. I help them, unlock their authentic power or connection with more of who they are. Like that's kind of squishy. It's not clear what would they be able to create or achieve as a result of working with you. So if you focus on the solution, you're an expense to be managed. There's going to be a cap. If you're just focusing on your training and coaching program or your methodology, and you just want to get that out there, it's not going to be as compelling as saying, I'm an investment that delivers an ROI. This is an expense to be managed. This is an investment that delivers a very powerful ROI, that working with you is going to create immediate and long-term value. So with this in mind, now what do you do if you want to help a client who is coming to you? So a lot of times people are coming to us with their favorite solution and they want us to implement it. What do you do? And this is when I talk a lot about partnership setup. So I have a whole series on my YouTube channel around how to land clients. This is when I call it I call landing clients partnership setup. So it's all around pivoting a client from their wants to the outcomes and results, which are the needs. So for example, this is a real world example that I had. Client came to me and said, hey, I have got this. I would like you to design and deliver a training program that improves the team's ability to resolve conflicts. So I could have said, okay, cool. How many people, how long are you looking for? Is it 1 day, 2 day? Do you want workbooks? What is it that you're looking for? But I didn't do that. I continued to push to get more clarity on what is it that you really want to do. And so what they communicate is they want their team to be able to resolve conflicts on their own. And so when I pushed for a little bit more, it's like we got a lot more clarity on like what's going on with the conflicts. We moved away from the training program, and tell me a little bit more about the conflicts. And what was really going on is this was a production. There were conflicts on a production floor. And the problem is the engineers and the production teams and the program managers were not on the same page. And so there were confusion over who was responsible for what. And the real issue was they wanted to reduce the production failures, so the failed lots that were costing them a ton of money, and that actually was causing their potential highest, most valuable clients to walk out the door. So when I talked to them and I moved them through to this goal, I moved this little $10,000 request for training into a gig that I think earned at least $250,000 because of the ROI that was at risk, that they needed to invest and fix this because it was costing them a lot of money. Now, a client isn't necessarily going to go through all of this rigmarole to understand that. They just have pain, go to the solution. They're going to ask you for the solution. But this is where a lot of my partnership setup approach is all about, is where you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Before we get into your solution, let's back up and let's talk about what's going on in the business. And you're always looking for the strategic goal that you're going after. And the reality is a training program will not achieve these results. This is one of my phrases I use all the time. Training is often necessary, but rarely sufficient. So you also want to think about what else that you bring to the table. Working with you is not just to take those cost savings and the customer retention. The customer retention, but working with you because you're this outside person who brings this expert perspective. You also are going to have an impact on employee retention and all the money that's saved from that. plus the new revenue that's created from the innovative ideas, because you got these people on board and you got them all aligned, and there's this huge ROI. When you're clear on this ROI that you're creating, just imagine the impact to your confidence of when you are landing clients and you're putting your pricing where you're really clear, like, yeah, working with me is going to deliver this ROI. So do you see the impact of getting a client to be clear about their goals versus just implementing a solution? Or do you see the impact that you can have in general, like just the difference that you're going to be able to make if you can get a client to be clear about their goals and that you're clear about the goals that your clients want to achieve? So getting a client to articulate goals is how you make more money and a difference. You create more value, which translates to increasing the value of what you do, and that increases your fees. So let me give you an example from a coaching standpoint. So somebody might come to a coach who's like a career coach, and they say, hey, can you make over my LinkedIn profile? And you can say, sure, what does it you want to look like? Are you looking for a banner, just a headline? Do you want the whole thing? How would you like to see it improved? But it's important to go up the pyramid. Well, they want more engagement, so like since the makeover, you want to get more active and connecting with industry leaders and sharing your thoughts. The goal though might be, I need to remake over my LinkedIn profile because I want to land a senior executive role. And I want to be considered for a senior executive position. The ROIs, all these financial perks, the personal satisfaction, the authority, the recognition. So if it's a LinkedIn profile, all someone needs to land a senior executive role? No, of course not. So working with you though, again, sweetens the deal. This is what they want to achieve. They want to land that senior executive role, but working with you as this overall career coach for emerging executives, they will get there, but they'll also thrive once they land it. And they'll be able to be this powerful industry presence, and opening doors to future opportunities. It's like really looking at like, what is this ROI? What is all the amazing things that they're going to be able to create or achieve in their lives? And how does it translate to money, time, relationships, self-esteem, and all those things that are really important to them. So think about what's the difference between a service provider who offers a LinkedIn profile makeover or a strategic partner that empowers their dream clients to thrive in the C-suite. You can see the difference between the two. A LinkedIn person or a strategist that helps people get to the C-suite. You can see the difference just in general from how you're going to be perceived in the value of what you create. So let's do a quick quiz time, and then I'll get into how you apply this to your messaging. So just look at this list real quick. And I want you to just in your own mind, just think through like which category will you put it in? Where would implementing a new CRM system or reduce employee turnover, or look at this entire list. And if you're not really clear on where it fits into the pyramid, like which level it represents, this is how like this is an area that you might be struggling with. And this is an opportunity for you to improve how you are thinking about your strategic positioning and building the business case for working with you and the ROI your clients would have. So if you're confused, let me just give you the answers so you're not going to be confused. So level 1, solution. This is what they walk away with, the deliverables. So the level 1, they might walk away with a new CRM system. That's a deliverable. A website that attracts clients. That's a deliverable. A stress management workshop, bundle of 8 coaching sessions, a strategy session, an organizational assessment. These are all level 1. This is what they're going to walk away with. This is the solution. Level 2 is the behavior change. So this is where they've gotten the solution and it leads to how people are changing their behaviors, improving a leader's ability to coach and manage direct reports, increasing length of time that visitors spend on a website and they're opt into their email list, or employees use a CRM system, or inter-team partnering. That's a behavior change. That's at a level 2. People are doing things differently. They might have been in a silo busting workshop and then they leave that silo busting workshop and now they're partnering together. And so the outcome is then at the level 3 is the impact. So if you're talking about that partnering and maybe innovative ideas came out, the impact would be is the revenue gain from those innovative ideas, the customer satisfaction. So it could be reducing employee turnover, saving money due to better retention, increasing customer satisfaction, close rates, per customer spending, boosting an overall company revenue. These are the outcomes that they're going to get. And so when you're in a discovery meeting and somebody's asking you for a solution of some kind, you always want them to go up the pyramid. So this is how you would go there. So if they say, if you want X solution, what I always say, if somebody says, hey, can you do this? I'm like, that is so interesting. I'm so excited to tell you more about it. Or I want to hear more about what you're thinking. But before we get into that, let's back up and talk about what's going on in the business. If you had X solution, what difference would it make? So you just keep asking the questions, what behaviors would change and in what ways? What difference would that make? What would you be able to create or achieve? And if you achieve these goals, what difference would it make? How would it impact controllable costs, revenue, overall profitability, personal satisfaction, peace of mind, important relationships you'd be able to build or retain, impact it would have on your reputation? Just go up the pyramid. Just keep asking the questions until you get to the outcome. And same thing when it comes to your branding messages, is you want to still be able to be thinking about the outcomes, not your solution. Too many people start at the level 1 when you want to start with a level 3. When I work with my clients one-on-one through their brand messaging, I want them to articulate who is their ideal client and what is the problem that you're there to solve. And so the problem is that there's something that they want to create or achieve in their business or career or life that's just not happening. And how do they feel about it? That's where you get into the pain points. So what you don't want to do is whack-a-mole their pain points. You want to really get clear on the strategic problem that you're there to solve. And a strategic problem is simply a goal or something that they want to create or achieve that's just not happening. So you want to really be focused on that. Then you can think about level 2. So in order to achieve that goal, what do they need to do differently to achieve that goal? What behaviors need to be transformed? And then you can start creating the solution. So what's the right solution for this client that will maximize their, I wrote time and time. Sorry, this is a off the cuff video. It's really their money and time. What deliverables will they get? What new knowledge and skills and abilities and perspective will you help them cultivate? And then and then how will you create these deliverables and skills? So what's all included? What's the features? Is it going to be X number of coaching sessions and organizational assessment with X number of people? You think about that later, because you want to get the strategic context so you can position the solution to be what it is that they will exactly need to create the results that they're looking for. Again, everything is about the results. So if you get stuck, go up the pyramid in your own mind. So if my dream clients have my solution, what difference would it make? What behaviors would change and in what ways? What difference would that make? What would they be able to create or achieve? And what if they had these goals accomplished, what difference would it make? How would it impact their controllable costs, their revenue, overall profitability? How would it impact their personal satisfaction, peace of mind? Like, ask yourself these questions if you get stuck. So if you're really just, heads done, you really can't get beyond your methodology. So if it's a certain training program that you've created, a certain e-course, a certain coaching methodology, your 5-step model to whatever it is that you do, or your 5-part framework or whatever it is, and you're very close to it. So you just look at that solution and then widen the lens. If they had this solution, what difference would it make? What behaviors would change and in what ways? Then go up and say, all right, then what would be the difference to their results, their outcomes? And then what would be the ROI of that solution? So that is it. Let me know if you have questions. Please put it in the comments or reach out to me at betsy@betsijordan.com. Remember, Jordan is with a Y. And let me know if you have any additional questions. Also, if you want to work with me on your brand messaging, your strategic positioning, help you land clients so that you can expand like a 10,000 figure request into a $200,000 gig like I was describing, definitely let me know. Check out my website at www.betsijordan.com, and I will see you soon.